Sister meets her BF online, cashes out her college fund and goes on the first date with $6,000 BC. She cashed out her college fund for a guy she'd never met, wired $6,000 to a stranger who promised love, and now stood at the edge of a decision that could ruin her. Lily Harper, 22, stared at her phone screen, heart pounding as the flight-boarded notification flashed. What kind of idiot bets their future on a single date? 3 months ago, Lily was just another community college student, scraping by on instant noodles and dreams of a psychology degree. Her life was a treadmill classes, part-time barista shifts, and late-night scrolls through dating apps. Then came Ethan, a 28-year-old entrepreneur with a smile that could melt glaciers and a voice that felt like home during their late-night video calls. He was everything her small-town life wasn't: worldly, confident, and dangerously magnetic. Their chats started innocently: memes, music tastes, shared rants about bad coffee, but soon Ethan was her sunrise and sunset, the one person who made her feel seen. "I've never met anyone like you," he'd typed one night, his words glowing on her screen. "Come to New York. Let's make this real." Lily's heart cartwheeled. New York. She'd never left Ohio, but Ethan's promise of a weekend that would change everything was a siren call. There was just one catch: he needed her to cover the trip. "I'm tied up with investments," he explained, his voice smooth as velvet over the phone. "I'll pay you back double when you get here." Lily hesitated. Her college fund, $6,000 painstakingly saved from birthdays, summer jobs, and her mom's overtime shifts, was her ticket to a better life. But Ethan's stories of penthouse parties and rooftop sunrises painted a future brighter than any diploma. Against her sister Mia's frantic warnings, "He's a scam." Lily, wake up. She drained the account, wired the money for travel expenses, and booked a one-way ticket. Now standing in JFK Airport, Lily's palms sweated as she scanned the crowd. Her phone buzzed Ethan's text: "Outside. Black car. You won't regret this." Her stomach churned with a cocktail of hope and dread. What if Mia was right? What if Ethan was a mirage? But the thought of his laugh, the way he called her Lils like they'd known each other forever, pushed her forward. She stepped outside into the humid New York night. A sleek black car idled at the curb, and there he was, Ethan, leaning against it, his dark hair catching the city lights. He was real, taller than she'd imagined, with a grin that made her knees weak. "You made it," he said, pulling her into a hug that smelled of cedarwood and ambition. Her doubts dissolved in his warmth. He opened the car door, and she slid in, heart racing like she'd just robbed a bank and gotten away with it. The first hour was a dream. Ethan drove her through Manhattan, neon lights blurring past as he spun tales of his startup dreams and their future together. "This weekend's just the start." "Lils," he said, his hand brushing hers. They stopped at a rooftop bar, where he ordered champagne she couldn't pronounce and toasted to new beginnings. Lily felt like she was living in a movie, her small-town self fading with every sip. But then things shifted. Ethan's phone kept buzzing, and he'd step away, his voice low and tense. When she asked, he brushed it off. "Just business, babe." At dinner, he insisted she cover the bill, saying his card was tied up. Her credit card groaned under the $200 tab. By the second day, he was asking for small loans for vague emergencies, a cab fare here, a hotel deposit there. Lily's $500 cash reserve dwindled, and a knot tightened in her chest. On the third night, Ethan took her to a glitzy club, the kind where influencers posed and bottles cost more than her rent. He was charming, twirling her on the dance floor, but his eyes kept darting to the door. "I need a favor," he whispered, his breath hot against her ear. "There's a guy here who owes me big. Can you hold on to something for me?" He slipped a small, heavy package into her purse. Her pulse spiked. "What is this?" she asked, voice trembling. "Just trust me," he said, his smile tight. Lily's world tilted. The package felt like a bomb, its weight pulling her into a reality she hadn't signed up for. Was this why he needed her money? Was Ethan even his real name? She excused herself to the bathroom, hands shaking as she opened the package. Inside was a wad of cash and a flash drive labeled client data. Her heart sank. This wasn't love, it was a hustle. She confronted him outside the club, the New York skyline mocking her naivety. "What's this? Ethan, what are you doing to me?" His charm vanished, replaced by a cold edge. "You wanted adventure. Lily, this is it. Play along, and we'll both win." Her throat tightened. She'd given up everything, her savings, her sister's trust, her future for a lie. But Lily wasn't the girl who'd boarded that plane. She slipped the flash drive into her pocket and walked away, ignoring Ethan's shouts. At a 24-hour diner, she called Mia, tears streaming as she confessed everything. "I'm so sorry," she sobbed. Mia's voice was firm but warm. "Come home, Lily. We'll figure it out." The next morning, Lily turned the flash drive over to the police, her hands steady despite the fear. They didn't promise much. Ethan's trail was slippery, but she felt a weight lift. She'd lost $6,000, but she'd gained something harder to earn clarity. Love wasn't a fairy tale or a risky bet. It was the sister waiting to pick her up at the airport, the courage to walk away from a dream turned nightmare. Back in Ohio, Lily rebuilt. She took extra shifts, enrolled in night classes, and patched things up with Mia. The scar of her mistake lingered, but so did the lesson her worth wasn't in a bank account or a stranger's promises. It was in her resilience, her ability to stand up after falling. What would you have done in Lily's shoes? Was she a fool for chasing love, or brave for taking the risk? Share your thoughts. Where do you draw the line between trust and caution? And